Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where we are currently working on getting a lot of things underway. We've got a ways to go on this, to be sure. This is going to take some time to get this all constructed. So our primary lack at this point is, clay, and we're going to need to import all of our clay. So that's going to be exciting, for sure. We do need to get some sawyers online, and I'm seeing that these porter yards are now functioning, so that looks good. We also have a pretty big deficit of timber at this moment. I'm actually considering building a sawyer over here. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So a sawyer over this direction has a lot of trees that it can cut without cutting into, well, any of them. We can just slot it in right there, and that'll be kind of a perfect spot for one. So let's get that online and get some more trees coming in. We are growing some amount of crops at this moment. We don't have enough captains assigned. Oh, okay. We should allow Empire service for both of these. Okay, there we go. So we need to provide some stone to Shaltakan. We're working on it. We've got some stone right now, but whoa. Oh, hang on. I rotated the map. There we go. This is the direction we want to be. Perfect. It's very strange to me that you even can rotate the map. Like, I get that it's not that complicated to do in an isometric game, but it's just kind of jarring to me when it happens. That's just kind of the way isometric games work, though. I'm a big fan of the art style in general, though. So we're currently working on this sawyer. It needs more wood. I mean, that's not shocking. And this farmer's hut out over here, it needs maize to develop. I mean, it will produce the maize. It's lacking farmers at this moment. We lack variety in diet. Yeah, we're working on it. So that's reasonably okay for now. And we just need to get a lot of these things a little bit more online, right? That's what we need more than anything right now is things going. So checking up over here, we need access to a sweeper, and that's not terribly surprising. So we can just slot in a sweeper, like right here. That'll be fine. These over here also need access to a sweeper, but we have one right here. So we just need that to get going. That should be absolutely fine. So for the moment, we're just kind of waiting on our people to actually get some of these things built. It's better than it was, certainly, but right now, I think our primary lack isn't actually that, like, we're having, like, pathfinding issues or our workers just aren't doing the jobs like they were previously. I think at this point, our primary lack is just timber. So we're waiting on some timber to come in. This sawyer, as you can see, has been cutting away over here. But this one isn't built. This sawyer is slowly working on this, and we can see the growth here is... it's going to come back eventually. It'll need time to regrow. But I'd love to get these extra couple of sawyers here, here, and here online. Getting all three of those going is going to be kind of a game changer for us in terms of getting this construction online, which is why I say I wish we could prioritize. I get that... delay construction of a planned structure. That's kind of exactly that, isn't it? So we can delay construction of this down here, of this over here, of this over here, and this over here, and say, don't build any of that. Just build the other things that we've got here for now. Yeah, that's a good thing to do then. And then if we go in here, can we see that this is delayed? No. We'll see if that actually worked. I'm not seeing any visual feedback on that. But that's probably... it's kind of the opposite of prioritize, right? But sure. So checking it out over here, we've got this stone quarry. These houses are currently maxed out. We should probably consider construction of additional homes right here. So I'm just thinking about the way these roads are laid out. They're very awkward. We're probably going to end up changing them here. So I'm going to get another set of homes here. Let's get some roads in like this. We're going to end up taking out that one unit of forest. And then getting rid of these roads here. Not this one. Hang on. Not this one. Getting rid of these. There we go. That should do for now. Okay, so this will reconnect up over here. That'll be fine. And we'll get a few additional houses out here because we know we need jobs out this way. So that looks good for the moment. And we're probably going to need additional homes up here as well. This will be a little bit easier for us to fit in. So let's just do something like that and get these guys in here. Perfect. So that looks good for the moment. And we'll get those going. So once those are done, we'll see additional commoners moving in. That will definitely be a good thing. How are we doing in this granary? Well, we've got a little bit of maize here right now, but not much of anything else at this moment. So down over here, we've got these fields that still need digging. We've not dug any of the maize fields over here. In fact, we've done very little digging over this way. So that's understood. We've got our commoners over here. We may need to have some additional housing over this way. Our levies have been sent to Tlatoani. Okay. Ah, there we go. Now we're starting to get some of this digging done over here. That looks good. So yeah, I'm thinking we might need some housing here. I'm just thinking about the number of jobs that are near this. So 5 commoners and 2 farmers, right? Yeah, I think we do need a little bit of housing right down over here. So this is kind of an awkward spot. I'm going to put the home here for now, and I'm only going to build 2 for the moment. Like that. So that'll be for getting this area a little bit more populated up. That'll be necessary. And we will need additional housing up here, of course, but this is fine for the moment. Okay. This section of road here is mildly awkward, as is this one. But I think it's actually a good connection to have. So that way we just go straight like this and straight like this, right? That would be the idea anyway. Cool. So we're definitely continuing this construction at this point. That looks great. And this border yard does have borders, but we're definitely lacking in timber. So once we get some of this timber flowing in here, that will get these jobs online because we need to get these homes built out over this way. And we are going to get these online, which will get this Sawyer going, which will get timber flowing up here. And these homes will get these going. So that's going to get us a lot more timber flowing in. This is probably enough timber to keep us going. The next question is, are we going to have enough stone inflow? And I suspect the answer to that is going to be a yes. We will see. We will see. So some of our masons are lacking timber and stone. Yes, that's not shocking. We're working on it. So at this point, we could definitely use some education. And one thing I'm thinking about here is these are not perfectly lined up here, which is a little bit unfortunate. They're a little offset. That's reasonably fine. A road like this is still a good connection for us to have so that we can have some shared services along here between these 2 groupings of homes. That's the idea anyway. So we'll get those going. Yeah, some trees are going to get taken out. Not too much we can do about that. We've got lots and lots of trees around. I'm not concerned about forestry. So that looks good for the moment. We'll get that in there. And I would like to then put in something along the lines of an education facility here. Yeah, that is good range. Do it. So we'll get some education in there because we definitely are going to need some of that. We're out of range over here of this market. I don't think I'll do a large market here. I think we're going to do a small market out over here. That'll take off some of the strain up here as well, but this is mostly going to be about serving this area. So it can reach a little bit out over here, but not tremendously. So that seems fine for now. As far as all of this goes, a market down here is probably necessary, and where would we want to put one? Well, this will be a small market for sure. And right here might not be terrible. We'll just get that in there. Okay, so our Imperial levies have returned. Excellent. And we'll get some of this maize online over here, but this small market over here is going to be necessary. My question is, are we going to actually get goods flowing from this granary down to this market? Well, it'll come through the porters, at least somewhat. So that's noted. Also, there's a ramp here. Well, okay then. So that's reasonably fine. But we really do want to get this online over here, and these sawyers as well. So wood is still our primary concern right now, but we do have this sawyer online and cutting, so that looks great. We're definitely seeing some improvement there. This sawyer is online and cutting as well. Yeah, that's very good. So now that we've got those online, we should be doing much better in terms of wood. These two up here should get done pretty soon as well, and just work away. Okay, so you're tending to an outcrop. Noted. So yeah, I think this has infinite stone. Pretty sure resources are infinite in this game, generally speaking, unless you like specifically go and destroy all of your trees, which I don't recommend doing. So these houses are now built, as is this market, and there we go. Enemies are on the march. They're expected to arrive in 1 month from the north. Okay, so they might come in like over here and come down this way. I don't know. We'll see. So these houses, not yet online, but we can definitely see that we had a pretty significant housing demand, actually. These houses are more than half full already. So that is very significant. I would love to see these come online, but it's going to be a little bit, and we'll see if this market gets service. That'll be interesting too. So this gardener out over here, we don't actually have any gardens for it, apparently. So we should do something about that, and that would be like these gardens here. We're going to take those out for now, and the enemies have arrived somewhere. Here they are. Okay, so they're coming in on this side. Gotcha. We're going to rally our troops, and we're going to rally right around here. We're going to get all of our captains out here, and out they come. We should have no real problem defending ourselves against this incursion. I don't see a significant issue there. So that looks fine. I would still love to see these sawyers come online. We need only 8 timber for this sawyer and 72 for this stone quarry. Out over here, of course, we're getting these common homes built, so this is where our wood is primarily going right now. Are we actually not going out here? They're not able to walk through this gatehouse, I think. We'll put them right down over here, then. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. Levies have been received, but the tribute was not received. The tribute was stone, and I'm not terribly surprised about that. We're still working on getting our stone production a bit more online. So that's okay. We could definitely get some stone production out over here. But for now, we just want to get this done. Okay, so our troops are currently here. If we were to redeploy them here, yeah, they can't get beyond this, I guess. I don't know where these guys are going. I wonder if we unhalted this. No, we still can't get beyond that gatehouse. Okay. Well, that's a bit problematic then. Let's go ahead and unhalt all of these. So we're going to ready all of this and all of this and all of this. There we go. At this point, most of our resource production is going fairly well. Ah, they've destroyed this section of wall, which actually means that we can head up over here now. Perfect. Okay, so this guy's running. And we appear to have this under control now. Perfect. Okay. So let's disband that. This is a person, but this is a ruin of a wall. We're just going to remove that for the time being. We'll put that back in a little later on. Maybe once this is actually constructed. we'll see if that happens. Looks like the porters do just barely reach out there, so we'll see. So we do need a fair amount of craftsmen. That's understood. We need obsidian. There's a lot of things that we need at this point. We started with very, very little in this one. So we need some stone for the small market, but it looks like we got maybe some of that there. No, we're building the farm beds down over here. Okay. Well, we at least have some amount of farm production happening now, so that is good. And as far as this up here goes, these gardens have now been taken out. So my question is, if we put them back in, yeah, now we're able to tend to these. Actually, hang on. No, this didn't go to these. Interesting. So, does this only work with small gardens and not with fruit gardens? So what do small gardens produce? Where are we? Here we go. Gardens produce the ambience of a neighborhood and allow access to other structures. Okay. Typical yield 100 pieces of that per year. Is that herbs? Presumably. So we can get our gardens in like that then. So we would have a small amount of herbs there. Okay, cool. Well, at least this gardener now actually has some amount of herbs going in there. So that'll be fine. Yeah, we're definitely lacking timber. That's a big concern right now. But hopefully we'd get these built soon enough. We haven't yet. We still have a big timber deficit. So we're working on it. This market down over here still needs stone, but we've got all of the timber that we need down here, and these sawyers are working away. So we're going to start seeing timber flowing up this way as well. That is good. But timber is a big, big lack for us at this moment. I'm actually even thinking about building yet another sawyer, although I'm not sure where yet. Perhaps like over here. This might not be a terrible spot for one. So putting one in right there. Perfect. Do it. That looks great. So we'll get that placed. There we go. And it's going to need a little bit of clay as well as quite a lot of stone. But or not stone, quite a lot of timber. We got the clay right away. The clay was not an issue. It's the timber that's the problem. So we're currently lacking 64 timber, but with the sawyer right here, we should be able to get this timber over here pretty quickly. I'm checking in on the housing over here. That definitely does need a little bit more, so that looks okay for now. Yeah, we've still got some growth capacity here. Growth capacity here as well. So we don't need more housing for a while. That's good to know. Eventually... Well, we do have our farmers' huts online now, so these are producing some amount per year. Although we do need a well dipper down here, and that's not surprising in the slightest. So a well dipper, I'm thinking we would put... I don't like this position. Maybe the well dipper could go over here? Or like over here. This is better for farmland, so I'm thinking like here. Yeah. Let's put a well dipper in right there. As far as a sentry post and a sweeper goes, we can put a sweeper here and a sentry post here to provide some amount of services out over this way. So that looks good. If we look at these, diversion. Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised about that. So that would end up meaning like, well, we wouldn't mind getting an herbalist out here since we do have... Actually, this is a good spot for one. Yeah. We do have access to some herbs, so that would be fine. And then a sauna, perhaps right here. That would reach all of these, pretty much, anyway. I think some of those are yellow reach. It's hard to tell. But that'll be some, anyway. And then we could even put in an alcove right about here, or maybe here. And reach most of that. That way we'll get some services going. So that seems okay for now. And eventually, I'm hoping the Sawyer will get built. All we need is 8 timber for that. Envoys have arrived from Shaltakan, demanding 50 stone per year. Rude. That is very rude of them. So we need a lot of stone down over here. In general, we need a lot of stone. So getting the stone quarry here done would be good. I'm also thinking about... I really think we need at least one more stone quarry, probably 2 or 3. If we were to put this in here, it would kind of reach. So that porter yard is definitely a thing. I'm thinking about maybe like over here. There's not that much for outcroppings over this way. So that is definitely a bit of a concern. Yeah, that's not close to accessible stone at all. We could just put another one here, right? Although I kind of prefer this position. Yeah, we'll do it. It's not full access to this porter yard, but it's probably okay. And if we need to, we can put in another porter yard here or someplace up here. Yeah, we'll see about that. So that looks fine for now. We'll get another stone quarry done there. And I want to think about another place for yet another stone quarry. Over here is decent. There's a lot of trees out over this way. So I'm wondering, what if we were to put in a stone quarry simply here? Terrain is blocked here. We could get it in there. Can we get a road here? No, that's an outcrop there. So an outcrop here and here are both good and bad. We want to have the outcrop, but that makes things a little awkward for us. So if we were to put in a stone quarry literally right here, it wants to have its connection be on this tile. So what I'm thinking right now is, what if we put in the road there, put in a stone quarry like this? Yes, that's what we want. Okay, so we'll get that online. I think with 2 additional stone quarries, we should be in a reasonably good spot. This will also give us a temporary influx of timber. So that's not a bad thing either. Okay, so we're going to need some timber to get this built, but we have access to this Sawyer and this Sawyer. So we should be in a position where we're going to have a fair amount of wood flowing up from here. And yeah, we can see we're already down to needing 67 timber for this stone quarry. So that looks good. Now we need 50. Okay. So yeah, we've got ourselves some amount of timber in these locations to pick up, and we'll probably just transport it directly to this stone quarry. So that looks good. We need stone and wood down here as well. But getting additional supply going here is going to be a very big deal for us. We're just not really seeing anything coming up over here, are we? Yeah, I think the timber is being rerouted before it gets up here. Because it has to pass through the city core, right? And that's almost certainly what we've got going on there. Religion? Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. So we'll deal with religion soon enough. That's going to require some stone. I want to get our production online first. So just getting this stone quarry going is going to be a big deal. We're done with that. Okay. Last but not least, you should stock up pulk and captives to sacrifice in advance of the upcoming New Fire ceremony in the Year of Two Reed. Your prestige will suffer greatly if this is not arranged. So pulk. Gotcha. So to that end, we should definitely get ourselves a farmhouse down over here. And we should have this be growing makeweed. So this would be something like this, 26. That's 32. Okay. Let's get a road surrounding that. Like so. And we'll get that online. And then as far as pulk goes, I believe that we would need a brewery for that. So that means that if we wanted the brewery to be up here, which I kind of do, we can put in the brewery right here. But we're going to need to have the Megui flowing up, right? And this porter yard is at 6 of 6. So that's understood. And we can back off on the clay, potentially. And we can have this be accepts Megui, like this. And then that's going to give us some potential problems if we're trying to construct something that needs clay down there. But we can have that be here, and then that can deliver up to the brewery. Like that. And then here, well, we would need a place that accepts the pulque, right? But we can just sell it from our markets, although we probably want to turn that off for right now. Well, we'll see. We'll see how our stores go on that. So we can't accept that in our granary. Where does that actually get stored? Just in the porter yard, I guess? Interesting. Well, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to get ourselves some of these religious structures built, I'm sure. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.